All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. We are live, I think. Yep. Very cool. All right. Let's get this thing going here. It has been a busy week for me. I have been working my butt off, but we're also planning for the Florida Bushcraft meetup that's coming up tomorrow through Sunday, and I'm going to be teaching a water safety and treatment class. Hey, I see Mike's in the house. Good to see you. But yeah, I'll be teaching a water safety and treatment class there, and so I have been doing a ton of uh, just taking notes and stuff like that, and making sure I've got all my information correct, because it's important to me to make sure that what I'm telling you is correct. And this will be my first actual like class that I have been really trying to put together. I've been wanting to do a little teaching, with the channel here. We're doing entertain, inspire, and instruct. That's kind of our focus. And I've been wanting to do some teaching. And so I've been putting this class together and trying to get it all together. So tomorrow we'll see if all that pans out. Or no, Saturday. I'm sorry. The class is Saturday. We'll see if it all pans out, all the prep work and all that stuff. But I'm pretty confident. Although you know how it goes, I'll probably get up there and just forget everything. But hopefully not. Let's see who we got right now. Distilling Adventures. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. He's a new subscriber. Appreciate that. Ken made it on time, and I appreciate that too, Ken. Mike Hines is here. Jason Demp. I guess that's Demp, Florida. FL, DIMPFL. So I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. I'll try to. Well, it says hello from North Carolina, so I don't know if that's Florida or not. I'm sorry, buddy. But welcome. Appreciate you coming. Nick, I'm glad you made it. Tell Miss Melanie I said hello. Like I said, Hike with Mike is here. Hike said, or Mike, not Hike. I saw a live stream from Random Adventures, and I think he was at HangCon. Yeah, he was. I actually got to hang out with him a little bit and talk with him. Super, super nice guy. Very, very nice guy. Actually, his HangCon Day 2 video came out a little earlier today, and that was a really, really good video. He did a lot different than I do, or than I did. He actually has focused a lot more one-on-one time, sitting down talking with the vendors and everybody there, and it's really cool to see just that different way of doing it. And I suggest, if you haven't already, go check out the Random Adventures 2.0 stuff. Subscribe if you haven't. Really, really nice guy, and his HangCon videos have been really cool. So let's see who else we got. I Do Adventures. He's also a new subscriber, I believe, coming from North Young Squire. I don't know where that's at. Oh, I got it. I'm sorry. Come North Young Squire is what he was saying. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, hello, Miss Melanie. Nick said you are here. I'm glad. So a few weeks ago, I put out this thing asking, I'm going to have a Q&A video, and I was going to do a actual Q&A video where I just kind of sit down and answer the questions, but I thought it would be more fun to do it in a live stream where I could kind of explain it to you, and then we could kind of discuss it, real time in the chat. So we're going to get into that here in a second. Tonight we got something a little different. We got the Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero, but we have the Jim Beam Fire tonight. And I like that combination too. I don't know if any of you guys have a little drink or whatever, but if you do, cheers. I'm also, if you can tell, doing something a little different. I do have a light this time. I don't know if that's going to look any better or not, but we'll see. Also, let me know in the chat if any of you are going to be at the Florida Bushcraft meetup this weekend. I'd like to know that. Just A says, greetings from Barstow, California. Appreciate you. So that would put you, what's that, 4 hours or so behind us? What time is it, Just A, in California right now? Albert Bassett, hey, good friend. Hey, Albert, it was good to see you at HangCon. Albert's a really cool guy. I got to sit down and talk with him a little while, and we shared a cozy coffee around the fire, so that was fun. Jason said he's just getting into hammock camping, and he's excited to learn more about it. Well, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot to hammock camping, but once you get into it, to me, it's the most comfortable way to camp. Now, I know that's a toss-up right there. Some people hate it. I absolutely love it. It's the most comfortable I've ever slept camping, and you're gonna enjoy it if you can get your setup right. Be forewarned, it's just like anything else. There is a gear list that will start compiling, and you're gonna want one of these and one of those and one of these. So, but it's fun. It's definitely a lot of fun, and I'll do my best to help you out. If you've got any questions, toss them up. And if I can't answer them correctly, I'll lie to you and make it sound good. So, or I'll do my best. No, I'm just kidding. We'll do our best. Between me, people in the chat, whatever, if you have a question, toss it up there and we'll see what we can do. Richard Roca, howdy from Texas. Texas is a long way, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Just A said he'll be there in spirit. I got you. It's just one of those things, man. Maybe we'll get to see you next time. Just the number, bud. It's Joe here in my truck. Okay, I don't know what that means. Richard Ruiz says, awesome channel. I really appreciate it, man. I really do. I do my best, and sometimes it works out. So, hooty hoo from Kevin Hunter. Kevin's one of our patrons. He's one of our Wild Bunch, and we appreciate them. A lot of what happens on this channel is funded by the patrons. And it's, it's a blessing for us. And we didn't monetize the channel specifically. And the patrons really are the ones who push this channel along. And we really appreciate them. Distilling Adventure says he's actually looking at getting his first hammock set up. He said good things about the Hanging High hammocks, and their prices seem pretty hard to beat looking at the Weekender. Hanging High hammocks, and I don't tell you guys something that's not true. I'm not paid by anybody like that. But Hanging High hammocks, not only are the hammocks really good, like I said, guys, I'm 300 pounds. That hammock is comfortable for me to lay in. And the problem with a lot of hammocks is when you lay in them, as big as I am, with hammocks with bug nets, they get really tight and they're hard to zip up. And then they'll start pulling at the ends and start fraying. And that hammock has not done that. But on top of the quality of the hammock, Trevor and the people over there are really awesome too. So that's just a, icing on the cake. Like I said, I'm not getting paid by those guys. But they're just great people, and it really is a great product. And like you said, for the price, it is super hard to beat. Tomorrow, if you haven't already, you need to go watch last week's first look video, and it'll tell you how you can enter to win one of those tarps. You have to do it on Instagram, and I know some people don't have Instagram, but if you go over there and hit Hanging High Hammocks up, you need to follow those guys and then comment or follow the directions on there. If you do that, there's a chance that you can win that, but he's going to pick the winner tomorrow, so you kind of on a time crunch on that. Let's see. Nick says he waited too long for tickets, unfortunately. Yeah, they did sell out at the Florida Bushcraft meetup. They did sell out, so which is awesome. I'm glad that they it's going to be a good event, so I'm glad they did sell out. Let's see. Richard Rua says hammock camping is the best year-round with the correct setup. I agree with that. If you get the right setup, you can camp, all 4 seasons. Or here in Florida, we get a season and a half. But the hammock, if you get the right setup, it's good all year round. And so yeah, but you got to have the right setup. Now, one thing I'll say, hammock camping is not as ultralight as you can get with, tent camping or backpacking. You got to deal with your underquilts and overquilts and things like that. So it can be bulky and heavy. So that it's a toss-up, whatever you want to be comfortable at. Let's see. Hanging High Hammocks are good people. I completely agree. Michael Hines says he's got his weekender in yesterday. Can't wait to try it out. Ken says one win hammocks and top and underquilts are a good value. They are, absolutely. Actually, my underquilt is the one win that I got from Ken. Hanging High Hammocks has great service also. Yeah, so I haven't had to deal service-wise with them, but I would imagine because he's pretty quick to answer any questions or anything that you have online. Kevin said, RIP to the Hanging High Hammock. My fall at hunting camp at the end of the year, Wild Bunch knows the story. It's got a tear. Oh, man. I forgot about that. Yep. Oh, well, I won't go into that, but yeah. That stinks. What kind of tarp do y'all recommend? So that's a heated question. There's a ton of different options out there. Depends on whether or not, if you're okay with going with a company that is, I don't know how to say it. So I'll just put it this way. My main tarp is a DD 3x3. I enjoy it. It's not light. I don't have the super light one, but it's a really nice tarp. It has been great for me. Calnico on Instagram, or no, Calnico on Amazon has an almost exact match, and it has been a pretty dang good tarp for a fraction of the price. So if you're okay with a company that's kind of stealing a design from another company, then that's, you know, that tarp is actually a good tarp. It's a little, I don't know, it's not very cool, but on a budget, it's a good tarp. But there's a lot of good tarps out there. I know Ken, um, if I'm not mistaken, um, I just completely lost it. Ken, comment on here if you would, the tarp that you use a lot. Um, Just A said for tarps, I prefer 3x3, 10-foot square, and they can be set up in a diamond or A-frame. Yeah. So I also prefer a square tarp. The 3x3 is a good tarp. Now, if you've got a 12-foot hammock, you almost have to set that tarp up in a diamond configuration to get full coverage. A 12-foot hammock will kind of set right at the edge of that tarp, and if you get a good amount of rain, it can run back up. Put weep lines on there, and that'll help out a lot. But the square tarps for me, that's what I would prefer. Nick said, "Will your class be recorded?" I don't. I'm gonna record just like a bit and piece of it because it's gonna be a longer class. So I don't think I'll record the whole thing. I may and just put it out as a bonus video or something, but it'll be kind of hard to make that interesting in a video. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I may try it. AquaQuest. That's the one I was thinking, Ken. So Ken uses AquaQuest tarp a lot of times, but he's got the Gold Armor tarp. Budget friendly, top of the line quality is the AquaQuest. Yeah, and they do have a lifetime guarantee. But they, like Ken said, they are expensive. So that's just something that you kind of gotta play that game. You know, figure out where you want to be. Do you want top quality and spend the money, or do you want to buy something that works that's maybe not as top quality on a budget? It's kind of a toss up, you know. You kind of got to figure that out yourself. So I'm gonna see if I can get over here and not mess everything up. I'm gonna see if I can get over here and check out these questions real quick. So I'll start. I had it on Instagram and on the Facebook, Rewild Outdoors. So I'll do the Instagram questions first. Let's see. Miss Deborah, she says, "What is your favorite time of day to set up your camp?" And that's kind of depends on what I'm trying to accomplish throughout the day. So if we are hiking or if we were mountain biking or something like that and we're trying to cover ground, then we're just going to try to cover ground as much as we can. And then when we're tired, ready to stop, we will set up camp. But I prefer to make sure I can at least set up camp in daylight. I don't want to have to set up after dark if I can handle it. But if I'm just going camping, and like especially if we're just driving into camp, I like to get there and get set up as early as I can, because the setting up part and the breaking down part is the least amount of fun. So if I can get there early, get everything set up, then I can get back to having a good time. So it kind of depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. So Sparrow Bushcraft commented, "You have approximately an hour left of light and you realize you need to hunker down for the night. You don't have a tarp, so you will need shelter. Do you work on the shelter first or start the fire first?" Myself, I would gather firewood and start the fire first. Ultimately, fire can be shelter, not from rain, but the fire can be shelter as far as um, keeping the boogeyman away, if that makes sense to you. And the thing also is, if you build your fire, it's gonna create heat. You can build a big fire or a small fire, and I've made a video on that. Depends on what you're looking for. But if I was, if I had an hour left of light, I would build my fire first. I'd gather that wood, because that fire is going to create light, which would allow me to work on my shelter after dark if that was something that I decided I had to do. And you know, so if you've got to have a shelter, you need a fire. I would work on the fire first. That's just my personal opinion. Somebody else might have a reason why you would do it differently, but that's just my personal opinion. Let's see. Grumpy Bushcraft says, as a fellow fat guy, what is your favorite camping food and way to cook said food? I'm a big fan of pork steaks. We don't eat a lot of pork here at home. Now, we have kind of started getting a little bit more into uh, making pork chops. Sarah typically doesn't like pork all that much, but she has started making some bomb pork chops. They're really good. Uh, but I like pork steaks myself, and I just grill them. And a lot of times I'll use this stuff you can get at Walmart called the Usual seasoning. And the Usual seasoning, I don't know what all it has in it, but it is really, really good on pork. It's a just a a powdered seasoning. You shake it on there. It's called the Usual seasoning, and it's really, really good. But I like to just grill it over the fire, and pretty simple. That's my favorite thing to eat in camp. Um, Mr. Camp Life says, "What's your favorite footwear?" So I'm probably not the best person to ask this question to, because I prefer to be barefoot. Um, and so a lot of times I prefer to just not have any shoes on at all. If I'm gonna wear shoes uh, to camp, it's kind of a toss up as to whether or not I'm going to be wearing tennis shoes, or I do have some 511 boots that I wear, and those things are super comfortable. But I don't like to wear shoes like that, especially if it's kind of the rainy season, because I hate walking through water and getting my feet wet with shoes on, and I also hate having to sit there and take my shoes off at camp. So the as far as shoes go, I'm kind of I don't do a lot of long distance hiking, so I get away with like the Skechers. I like the Skechers that have the memory foam inside them, and those work fine for me. Now, if you're gonna do long distance hiking, from what I hear, the Ultra Lone Peak shoes are really good for like long distance hiking. I know that my buddy Tampa Jimmy, that's what he wears. Um, and they have a extra wide toe box on them, and so it keeps your foot more comfortable when you're hiking and stuff like that. So if you are looking for a long distance hiking shoe, those Ultras are a really good deal. I'm gonna jump back over here and see what's going on in the chat before I keep going. Let's see. Oh, see, we got Seaway 44 in the house. Appreciate you coming. Eeyore is in the house. I got to see him down at HangCon. That was cool. Eeyore says he loves his DD3x3. Nearly indestructible. Yeah, mine has been in some high winds, and it's still holding strong. I don't have any problem with it. Jason said, what would be a good tarp for 2 people in hammocks? Both hammocks are 11 foot. So if you're going to try to do 2 people under 1 tarp, you're going to probably need a 4x4 minimum. I'm trying to think. I did see a setup this past weekend, and I can't remember who. It may have been a one-wind setup that had it set up wide enough for two hammocks to be inside it. I think it's a one-wind hammock. It may have been even the hot tent, but I can't remember. Um, let's see. Kevin said, "Can that hot tent from One Tigress hold up in the winds?" Got some stories from hunting season, I bet. And Ken says his favorite time is before rain starts. That is a great answer. That's 100% fact. Before the rain starts is the best time. Seaway said, "Hello all. I went to the old brick road yesterday. Pretty cool little road trip." So if you guys haven't seen that video, that was a long time ago. That was one of my earlier videos, and I was trying some camera tricks like hooking the camera under the truck and getting some stuff like that. And the funny thing is, I can't remember exactly what happened, but I didn't have enough footage to make the video. So I actually had to go back a second day and shoot some more footage for that video. But it's the brick road in, man, I can't even remember where it's at now. But it's Old Dixie Highway is what it is. And it's really neat. It's very historic. So it's a little brick road that was originally built for like Model A's to go down, and it's really neat. Unfortunately, everything else through there is pretty much gone. It's just woods now, and there's only certain parts of the brick road that you can still see because of the dirt and everything that's over top of it. But that's really neat. Distilling Adventure says, "Sorry to run. Have a good night. I appreciate you stopping in, hanging out. That was awesome." Yep. So yeah, like Ken said, the AquaQuest 4x4, or the DD 4x4, the AquaQuest 15x15. Yeah, for two people in a hammock or in two hammocks, you're gonna need a bigger one like that. I Do Adventure says salt, pepper, and garlic. Yeah, that's the basis. Kevin, barefoot. Bare your soul. That's right. Bare your soul. Matter of fact, I'm barefoot right now, but I'm in the house. I Do Adventure says Crocs easy on, easy off. The only reason I don't like Crocs is because Crocs get stuff down inside them, and it drives me bananas. I can walk on stuff barefooted, doesn't bother me. Get it inside my shoe, and I cannot stand it. Ken said Croc all terrains. Become a member of the Ugly Shoe Club. Now I've got to get me a set of Crocs though. I don't have any anymore. But Sarah bought me a whole bunch of stuff from that Temu site, and one of the things in that is a set of headlights for Crocs. It's got a light for each foot, so I got to get me a set of Crocs just so I can wear the headlights. Ed Chaos said, "Ever use a gimbal?" I've got one. I don't have a gimbal, and my camera has that stabilization built into it, and I'm still saving up money for the new camera fund. The new camera that I want actually has a lot better stabilization, and it has the horizon leveling and all that stuff. So I'm still saving up for that camera. I do have a PayPal if anybody wants to jump in there and help me out. But yeah, the cameras that I have stabilization on them, so I really don't use a gimbal all that much, or I don't use one at all. But yeah, I mean, I'd definitely try one out. Let's see. Eeyore said, "If you want a great tarp for two people, Walhalla makes an enormous dining tarp with pole mods that easily fit two hammocks." Walhalla are nice people too. I've spent a good bit of time talking to them, and they're really nice people. Eeyore said fire ants get me every time I wear Crocs in the yard. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really big on the Crocs personally. Let's jump back to see if we got any more questions on this one. Mr. Camp Life also asked, what is your favorite method of carrying water? And what is your favorite method of carrying your mini bar? Which is hilarious. So, method of carrying water, I typically just have my Nalgene, and then I have a water filter system with me, so I can filter water and all that stuff on site or along the trail. And so I typically just carry the one Nalgene. I used to carry a stainless steel water bottle, but the Nalgene, I don't know, I just decided to start carrying the Nalgene, and now I've got a stainless steel cup that I use if I have to boil water. Really, no rhyme or reason why I started doing that. I just started doing that. But yeah, as far as carrying the water, it's just a simple Nalgene. And favorite method of carrying my mini bar. So the reason that's funny is I ended up giving Mike my flask that had the Rewild sticker on it and all that stuff. It was my personal flask that I carried all the time. And so it's kind of funny that he asked that, but it depends. If I've got some whiskey here, I may put it in a flask and just take it with me. But a lot of times what I'll do is on the way to camp or on the way to go camping, I'll stop and grab me a little bottle or something like that. Or sometimes the wife is sweet enough to sneak a little something into my camping kit. But a lot of times it's just those little bottles, or just a smaller fifth or something like that to take with me. But that's pretty simple. I don't really get too deep into what I need to bring, as far as whiskey goes like that. And I'm cheap. You guys know I drink the Evan Williams, the cheap stuff. But I enjoy it. I really do. So, Robert Lee, let's see. I want to make sure I get this right. Robert Leal asks, have you ever thought about doing any type of wilderness survival down in the Everglades? Would love to see more content on how to survive down in the South Florida region of the Everglades. Well, I would love to do some camping and some survival stuff down in the Everglades. That is a long haul for me, and because I still, I work a full-time job, and it's hard for me to kind of get away for a long enough period of time to make it worth it to do that. But I would love to do that if I could find somebody down there that had the right connections that could, I don't want to say set the whole thing up for me, but that could at least help me get it set up. That would make it a lot easier. I would like to do some more or some of that. Ed Chaos said, you can try my gimbal. I got the GoPro 11, great stability. Yeah, the GoPros have really, really good stability. And the only reason that I use where is it at? Right here. The only reason I use this camera, this is my DJI Osmo Action, and this is actually the Osmo Action 1. The only reason I use this and have kept using this is because they had the front-facing screen first before GoPro had that, so it made it easier to set up shots and stuff like that. But the other thing is the GoPro stuff is all proprietary. So if you get the mic attachment for a GoPro, it has to be GoPro brand. It's all proprietary. DJI is not like that. This mic adapter is like $20, and you can use any of these mics with it. And so that's the reason that I've gone with the DJI stuff, and I'm going to continue using DJI because, for one thing, the 4 that just came out, which is the camera that I'm trying to get, I can still use those adapters with that camera. So that's the reason that I've kind of stuck with the DJI stuff. Ed Chaos said, Walhalla has great stuff. Yep, I absolutely agree. Now, let's jump over to the Facebook questions. Alright, one of these days, I'm going to figure out how to do this thing where I can just jump between screens where you'll be able to see my screen and all that stuff. But right now, you just have to trust me that I'm actually looking at something on the screen here. Jeremy Kasab, I hope I'm saying that name right, says, interested as to what you would consider a minimalist kit. What's the least amount of gear, and what would you be, or what would that gear be? You'd feel good gracious. Let me start that over. He's interested as to what you would consider a minimalist survival kit. What's the least amount of gear you'd feel comfortable going on a day hike with, and what would that gear be? What type of pack would you use? So, as far as minimalist kit for a day hike, I still think, I'm a firm believer that even on a day hike, you need to have at least the basics. So, fire, water, shelter, a cutting tool, some cordage. Sorry guys, my sinuses are starting to drain right now while I'm doing the video. So, some cordage and my protection. Won't really go into the protection part of it. You know what I'm talking about. So as far as fire goes, I'm gonna have a big lighter and my ferro rod. I'll have that with me. I have a small fire kit. You guys have probably seen it. It's orange. It has a fire patch on the front of it. In that kit, it has a ferro rod, a lighter, a big lighter. It has some fire making tinder in there, some wax jute line in there. It's got a small piece of fat wood in there. It's got some waterproof matches in there, I believe. But that little fire kit, that is so small and simple to drop in a bag. But minimalist, the very minimum would be my big lighter and a ferro rod. As far as water, for the bare minimum, I would have at least a stainless steel cup. That way I could process water. And I would take my, obviously my Nalgene with me. I actually prefer my water filter kit. It's pretty small too, but I'm going to take that stainless steel cup to have something that I can boil water in at the very minimum. As far as shelter, on a day hike, I have a USGI poncho that always stays in my day pack. And it doesn't take up a ton of room, and you can fold that thing out. You could actually use it as a tarp if you needed to. But I've kind of talked about this before. That USGI day pack, that USGI poncho, you could throw that thing over top of you, set Indian style under that thing, and if it's storming, you're going to stay relatively dry under that thing. So as far as shelter goes, I would just keep that little poncho with me. Let's see, my cutting tool. I'm going to take, typically on a day hike, I'm going to take my little Victorinox Ranger grip. I love that little knife. It's got a good blade on it. It's got a good saw on it. It has the tweezers. It has a toothpick on it. It has screwdrivers on it, and all the things that I might need out there on a day hike. And that's what I'm going to take as far as a cutting tool. Cordage, I take in my pack. It's a little 50-foot hank of tarred mariner's line, bank line. It's It packs down small. It doesn't take up a ton of room. It doesn't weigh hardly anything. You don't even know it's there, but it's there if you need it, and if you need it, you're going to be glad you have it. So that, and then just my protection. So it's very simple, but on a day hike, that's what I would take. And now, as far as my day pack, again, my day pack is super inexpensive. It's a Venture Pals, I believe is what it's called. Venture Pals day pack. And I want to say it's like 30 liters or something, but it's super light. And for a day hike, you're not going to load that thing really heavy. But I have loaded it down, and it's stood the test of time. I've used the heck out of it. But it's nice to have in the car. So if we go somewhere during the day and we, go buy some stuff, or if we're not sure if we're going to buy some stuff, I can toss that pack on. Sarah can throw her wallet or something in there and doesn't have to carry a purse. And it's really handy. And the thing doesn't cost that much. So if something happens to it, I'm not out a $200 pack. So that's my little minimalist kit. Let's see what else we got here. So Mr. Blackie Thomas asked a question. He said, when lighting your camp at night in the deep south, how do you deal with the bugs that are attracted to that light? So typically at night, I'll wear a headlamp that has a red light on it. The bugs aren't as attracted to the red light. And also the green light too, I believe. I just haven't gotten a headlight with the green light on it. So the bugs aren't as attracted to that colored light. But another thing that we have done in the past is you can take a white light, hang it off the side of camp, and pull that light up on a piece of cordage high. And it will flood the camp with light, but all those bugs are attracted to that light up there and not right here over where you're at. That's a little trick that has worked well for us in the past. But colored headlamps and things like that, that's something that we use a lot to help combat those bugs and stuff when you're camping. Let's see. My buddy Brian is in the chat. Brian Story. Awesome photographer. Awesome leather worker. He can build anything you want built. He is a master craftsman. Absolutely. My buddy Brian. He said he don't need a gimbal. He's smooth enough on his own. Plus skipping a gimbal avoids sand, dirt, and dust issues in the gimbal. Yeah, that's true. I am smooth enough on my own. I don't know about the other part because I don't have a gimbal. Ed Chaos said, Eeyore, we were down at HangCon, and my buddy moved the fire pit ring, got ants all over his neck. There was, I think it was Miss Annette Beeson, when they went to set up their camp, there was fire ants all over the place where they were trying to set up too. So it was there's fire ants out there for sure. Jason said, I love DJI. I'm having a hard time saying that tonight. DJI stuff. I've got the Mavic Mini, great quality. Yeah, I've got the DJI Mini SE drone, and I love the thing. It's essentially Sean proof. I can't hardly mess the thing up because everything for me. Yeah. I Do Adventure said, don't forget TP, essential gear. Yeah, that's true. That is something that I've always got my hygiene kit in my bag. I didn't think about that. I should have said that. Ken said, yes, green keeps bugs away. You can see better with green light too. I haven't tried the green headlamps. I need to get me one to try it out. Ed Chaos said, New York State parks have banned hammocks, claiming they don't have privacy. That's weird. I wonder. That's strange. I don't know why they would even be worried about that unless they're afraid that you're going to be out there in your skivvies running around. Ed Speenberg asked, "How far can you walk into the woods?" And that is a riddle. It's an old riddle. I won't answer that. I'll see if you guys can tell me in the comments. How far can you walk in the woods? My buddy Travis Allen Blake, Butterbean Outdoors, asked, I've got a question. Why are you so cool? That's a good question. It's taken a lot of time. I've put in a lot of effort to be this cool. It's a lot about who you know and growing a really cool beard. Um, you know, the usual stuff. Appreciate you asking the question, Travis. Um, Obviously, I'm kidding. I'm just naturally cool. Let's see. Donald Mike Gideon asked, "What is your go-to fire kit?" I think I pretty much covered that one. Mr. Blackie also asked, "Do you have problems with gators coming into your camp like bears do up north looking for food?" I've never had gators come into camp looking for food, but when you camp on the edge of the river, they will come up to the edge, and sometimes they'll come up on the bank right near you if you are right near the water. And so that is something that you need to take into consideration when you're camping in the swamp or on the along the rivers and stuff. If they can get to you, they possibly could. I've never actually had one come into camp, but I will say that my father taught me something a long time ago about camping in Florida. And this is something I have carried with me for a long time, and I think about often when I'm camping. Um, a lot of you guys know my story with my pop. Pop was a scoutmaster, and so I was in the Boy Scouts from about 5 years old. And we would do a ton of camping. Anytime anybody was camping, we were camping. So we did a lot of camping. But something Pop taught me was, here in Florida, we have a lot of the uh, palm fronds and the palmetto bushes and stuff like that. And he would go around throughout the day and gather up old dead palm fronds. And that way, if you had anything happen in the middle of the night, you could take those palm fronds and throw them on coals, and they would burst into flames, and it would light the whole place up really fast. And so they were camping, my mother and my father, and it was before I was born, on the Swanee River. And they were camping in a tent right along the edge of the river there. And Pop woke up and heard something moving around out there, and he threw the palm fronds on the fire, and it blazed up, and there was an alligator coming up the bank. So it is a possibility. It's something that you have to be diligent about. But those palm fronds, that is a good little trick to keep in your memory bank there. So if you're camping and there's palm fronds around, grab you a couple dry ones and throw them off to the side just in case you need a blazing fire in the middle of the night. Let's see. Mike Heinze would like to get your opinion and suggestions on underquilts for hammocks. I know you talked about it before. I can't find it. Thanks for putting out some great content. I always look forward to new videos. I really, really appreciate that, man. I really do. Thanks for saying nice words. As far as the underquilt, here in Florida, like, I've got that 40-degree underquilt, I think it is, that I got from Ken. And that 40-degree underquilt has worked great for me, even down into the 30s or upper 20s. And so that's a one-win underquilt. You can get super expensive underquilts, but those one-win underquilts are not very expensive. They are bulky, they are heavier, but it has worked great for me. I know Ken has used it. It's worked great for him. So yeah, the underquilts, there's a lot of options out there. If you're looking to pack down tight and pack down small and light, you're going to want a down underquilt. But if you do that, you need an underquilt protector, and stuff like that. So it's kind of, like I said before, it kind of depends on where your budget is on that. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer, message me on our Facebook page, and I will do my best to help you out on that. Let's jump back to see the comments. Miss Deborah. Hey, Miss Deborah. I'm glad you made it. Miss Deborah said halfway into the woods. That is correct. So the reason, if you don't know, the reason you can only walk halfway into the woods is because once you get to halfway in the woods, if you keep walking, you're walking back out of the woods. So halfway in is as far as you can go into the woods. Good answer, Miss Deborah. We are definitely glad you guys are back, and appreciate you being in the chat. We did miss you last week. Jason said, I really enjoyed your video on the hitch mount hammock hanger. That thing has been awesome. I have used the heck out of that thing, and it has worked really good. And I really feel like I saved some money with that thing. It really has worked out really good. That's another one of those things that it was a DIY. And you know, if you're interested in doing stuff like that, you can do it. You just got to get out there and grab it and grunt. Just do it. Let's see. AKL said tips on staying cool in those summer months. Hammock camping. And camp by the water. If you can camp by somewhere where you can swim in the summer, even, you know, you got to be careful, obviously, swimming in the evening. But if you can just jump in the evening and get cooled off a little bit and then go climb in your hammock, even if it's hot, you're going to be cooler and a little more comfortable. But there are times when it's just miserable camping in the summer heat. I got a video that proves that. So, Gary Kerr, I'm glad to have you tonight. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. He said, Sean, any plans for an overnight Swanee River kayaking trip? I definitely want to do that. I've been talking about it for a while, and it's on my list of things to do. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But that's, you know, it's definitely on my list of things to do. We'll get it done. I promise we will get it done. Let's see. Eeyore said, this is why I love this channel. Well, I appreciate it, Eeyore. Thank you. Ken said, yep, it's 40 degree. And that, I'm going to be honest with you, I sleep warm. But that 40 degree underquilt has worked perfect for me. All the way down into the upper 20s that we had last HangCon. It got cold. And that's a whole funny story there. But me and Ken were sitting under that pavilion. I was praying for a blanket. And I won that Jacks Are Better overquilt. It was funny. But I wouldn't let Ken share it with me. But yeah, it was very cold. But that underquilt did fine for me. Carl said he made it, but he's late. That's okay, Carl. That's absolutely fine. I'm glad you were able to make it. And oh, my beautiful wife is in the chat, and she said, "Hey, Miss Deborah, we missed you." Let's see. Eeyore said, Hammock Gear Economy Incubator is a fantastic down underquilt for the money. I actually looked at a couple of those at HangCon. They're really, really nice. The other company that I thought had some really nice underquilts and overquilts was that Hang Tight company. And if you watch my HangCon video, I sat there and I talked to those guys a little bit. The company's called Hang Tight. They had some really nice underquilts and overquilts, and they had good prices. They're another one that you should definitely check out. Carl said, "Are you bringing your guitar this weekend?" I definitely will be bringing the guitar. So hopefully you bring yours and we can rock out around the campfire. Jason said, "Do you have Rewild apparel or stickers?" I have a crowd made store that has t-shirts and stuff like that on it. I don't have any that I carry in stock here, so you have to order them from there. They're a lot better quality than the Teespring shirts that I used to have, so if you guys are looking for shirts, that's where you should go get them, from Crowd Made. I'll see if I can. I don't know if I can get the link for it here without messing everything up, but we'll try it. Let's see, crowdmade.com. The Teespring shirts that I had were, those things were horrible, and I apologize to anybody that bought them. They were definitely not good shirts, but the crowd made stuff is a lot better quality. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but what I'll tell you what I'll do. After this video is over, I will put the crowd made link for my shirts in the description. I do have hats and patches sometimes, but those are hit or miss. It's just whenever I have the hat or the patches and I make the hats. So we'll probably try to do some of those in the future. Let's see. Ken said Georgia boy toughed it out. Yeah, Ken did make it through it, but it was cold. You got to admit, it was cold. We went back to camp and Ken had a blazing bonfire going. Miss Deborah said, "I love it when you play guitars by the campfire." Yeah, I enjoyed it. When we did Wild Camp, we sat around the campfire and jammed, and that was a lot of fun. Speaking of Wild Camp, we are in the process of getting everything rolling for Wild Camp 2024. And so, well, look at my beautiful wife has put the link in for our crowd made stuff in the comments there, so you can click on that and buy gear or buy shirts and stuff to your heart's content. But we are starting the preparation and everything for Wild Camp 2024, and we are trying to do a bigger event this year. Last year we had people on a waiting list, and I hate the idea that people wanted to go and couldn't go. I hate that. And so we're looking for a bigger venue to do it at, but I have some criteria that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep a bathroom with heated showers. I want a pavilion because we had a good raffle last time. But we're looking for something that will hold 90 or 100 people this time. I did go look at a spot, and it was just a mess. It was not going to work for us. So we're still on the search for that. But keep your eyes peeled for that. Stay tuned for that, because we're going to have more info on that coming out through the next month and couple months probably. But there's a lot of planning that goes into Wild Camp, and Sarah did a ton of work. I thank the Lord that I had her, because it would not have been the same event if I had had to do it by myself. But a lot of planning goes into it, but it's a lot of fun too. Michael Hines says, "Thanks, Sarah. Got to have a Rewild shirt." I appreciate it, man. I really do. All of that stuff helps us out. Now the shirts and stuff, we have priced those so low that we don't make a ton off of them, like $1 or $2 per shirt. But the whole goal was, I wanted you guys to be able to get a shirt if you wanted it without it costing a fortune. And I've looked, there's other YouTubers that I want to buy shirts from, but I don't want to pay $35 for a t-shirt. I'm cheap. I don't want to do that. So I don't want you guys to have to do that either. We're not making much money off the shirts, but I want you guys to be able to have the shirts and enjoy them. And that little bit of advertisement means the world to me. So I love seeing you guys out there in the shirts. I did see our buddy Randy had one of our shirts on at HaneCon, and that was cool. I've seen Miss Deborah and Ray sporting our shirts out in the wild, and so that's really neat. I love seeing that stuff. So I think we have a couple more questions, and then I will quit holding you guys up. Let's see. Miss Donna said she would like to see a slower tutorial on how to hang a hammock tarp. Obviously I can't do that tonight, but I will work on that soon. I will try to do a dedicated tarp video and just show you kind of how I do it. And as far as like a step-by-step setting it up, maybe we'll do that for a Sunday video. I'm trying to start doing a regular video during the week, or a regular Thursday video, and if I can, don't hold me to this, but if I can, I'm going to start trying to post a smaller Sunday video that will be more of like maybe a gear video or just something small on Sundays. But I'm trying to, for 2024, I'm trying to up the quality of my videos. I'm trying to up the quality of the content, but I also want to bring you guys a little more content. So if you're looking for more content from us, you can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. So sometimes there I'll post little stuff. If you're looking to help support the channel, you can join our Patreon. We do have a PayPal link in the description if you just kind of want to do a one-time thing, which is great also. But if you want to support the channel, that's a couple ways that you can do it. But if you hit that like button on those videos, hitting that like button is huge. It really helps the channel to hit that like button. You always hear people say that, but it truly does help the videos get pushed out there more, the more likes that we get. So that's great help for the channel. And also sharing the videos. If you share the video, it shows the algorithm that people really like the videos and they want other people to see them. And that helps YouTube kind of push those videos out too. So another gentleman, which I will not try to pronounce this name, I have no idea how you would pronounce that, asked, are there truly native edible fruits that grow in the great state of Florida? Or in the greatest state of the Union, he said. As far as native edible plants, I actually looked this up because I wanted to say like oranges and stuff like that, but I think he's asking about indigenous plants. And as far as that goes, indigenous fruits and berries and nuts, here in Florida we have the beautyberry, which if you've never eaten a beautyberry, a lot of people think that they're poisonous. Beautyberries aren't poisonous. Don't mix those up with pokeberries. Pokeberries also, that's kind of a questionable thing. Some people think they're poisonous, which technically they are. But other people eat pokeberries sporadically for rheumatoid arthritis. So, I mean, that's one of those things. Don't go out and say, oh yeah, Sean said that I can eat pokeberries. I didn't say that. Just keep that to yourself. But beautyberries, if you actually just grab a beautyberry and eat it, it's not the best. It's kind of musty flavored. It's not super sweet. but you can make really good jam out of beauty berries. And the leaves of beauty berries, you can crush those things up and rub them on your skin, and they are a natural bug repellent. They're a natural mosquito repellent, just like anything else, though. If you have sensitive skin, be careful doing that because you could have a reaction to it. We have native blueberries here in Florida. We have the Chickasaw plum here in Florida that's indigenous. Maypops, also called the wild passion flower. The muscadine grapes, also called scuppernongs. Some of you guys know that. As far as nuts, pecans or pecans, for people who say it incorrectly, are actually native to Florida. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that until I was looking this up. We have native persimmons here, which I love persimmons. I don't know if you guys eat persimmons, but I love to find a persimmon tree. We've got one on the property here, but it hasn't put on fruit in a few years. So the red mulberry, here in Florida, we do have mulberries, and they are a native berry. And then the southern dewberry is what we consider the blackberry, the wild blackberry. So as far as like fruits, that's fruits and berries and nuts. That's kind of a good little list. I'm sure there's probably more that I missed, but that's a pretty good little list. But let's see what we got. Jason said, "Amen, Sean. Being cheap." Hey, I am. I'm not gonna lie. I won't lie to you. I'm cheap, man. Miss Deborah said, "I love my Rewild shirts." That's awesome. Thank you so much. Ed said, "Click the thumbs up." Yeah, if you can, if you don't mind, click that thumbs up. Chad Isbell said, "Finally figured out how to chat." I just bought a hammock and will be camping all over Florida, but we'll also be going into Georgia and the Carolinas. Would you recommend a 20 or a 0? So as far as an underquilt overquilt goes, if you're going to be going into the Carolinas, especially if you're going to be going up there when it's cold, I would err on the side of caution and just go ahead and get the 0, because worst case scenario, you're going to be a little too warm, and you can always throw your overquilt off of you for a minute and get some cool air in there. But on the flip side of that, if you're cold, you're just cold. So I would err on the side of just being a little warmer instead of taking a chance of being cold. Miss Deborah said, "Click my thumbs up." Thank you very much. Chad's Outdoor Adventure said, "Just hit the like button." Thanks for the videos. I appreciate that, Chad. Thanks for subscribing and liking the videos. Ed Chaos said, "For every view YouTube puts out, or every, I don't know why I can't talk tonight. For every view, YouTube puts your video in front of 7 more people." Well, that's good info. Ken said it's pecan. I agree. That's how I've always said it. I've always called it a pecan. Everybody says pecan, or a lot of people say pecan, but I don't know. I've always called it a pecan. I Do Adventure said everyone is invited to come hang North Carolina. So they have a hammock hang coming up. I Do Adventures, if you would throw that the dates up for that down here, and then I will I'll try to put a link to that in the comments after this is over with. Ken said, "For underquilts, you can get a 40 degree and add another 40 degree, and it will take you very low." Yeah, you can definitely do that. It's just bulky. It depends on the money you want to spend, like I said. If you don't want to spend a ton of money, then you can do the 240 degree underquilts, and that will do good for you. the other thing that we were actually talking about this at HangCon, something that you need to remember with underquilts is that underquilt needs to have an airspace between your body and that underquilt. Your body heat will fill up that airspace and keep you warm. If that underquilt is mashed right to the back of your body, if you're laying in your hammock and it's mashing that underquilt, you are losing R value. So if you're mashed right on that underquilt, you're not going to be as warm as if it had an air gap in there. So you don't want a ton of air gap where it's going to have wind blowing under you, but you need to have enough air gap under there where you're not essentially squishing the R value on that underquilt itself. Let's see, April 5th and 6th. Okay, cool. Jason said, yes, definitely more information on HangCon or on HangCon in the Carolinas. It's not a HangCon. It's just a group of people that are doing a hammock hang up there. And I Do Adventure says they're giving away a hammock, so that's really cool. Let's see, how long have we been going? We're over an hour now. I think that I pretty much covered all the questions that were in the posts. I think I answered all those. And I appreciate you guys all coming and hanging out tonight with me. This is why I wanted to do it this way. It was more fun to me to do it like this than to just make a video and answer the questions. This was more fun. Richard Roker said, enjoyed it. Back to laptop work. Sorry about that, buddy. I appreciate you coming to hang out. I Do Adventure says, later, brother. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up for the night. I do appreciate you all. And Jason said, great job, Sean. Keep up the great work and keeping me watching. Mac, yeah, one last thing. The shirts, let's see. What does this say? The shirts look like they hold the twins. Maybe I'm not understanding that. Well, they'll keep your boobs in if that's what you're asking. Taco O5 made it, man. We were about to wrap up. I appreciate you showing up, though, Taco O5. Let's see. Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you made it anyway. You can always go back and rewatch this thing. Miss Deborah said, I love your live chats. Well, I appreciate it. I'm not great at them, and I've said that over and over again. But I do enjoy doing them. The better I get at it, I'm enjoying it more. So it's the problem with live chats or with the live streams is I don't edit it. So if I say something stupid, if like I can't think of something, it's just live and it's just out there. So I don't edit it up. So if I say something stupid, it's just out there for the people to see. But I do like to have a quality control on my videos. I try to do my best to have good videos. And so let's see, we're gonna do this. Hang on just a second. All right. I like to have some quality control in the videos, and I try to keep a good edit of the videos, if that makes sense. I do my best to try to. All of my videos basically have an aesthetic, and it's something that I try to do. So I can't really do that with the live streams. But Chad's Outdoor said you can edit it, but lose the views and likes from that time. I don't want to edit the live streams. In all honesty, my videos, you see what happens. I mean, I don't really edit a lot of that stuff out. The only time I really edit the stuff out of my videos is if I just, like, I can't finish something that I'm trying to say and I have to shoot it a couple times. I'll edit that, but if something goes wrong, you see it. Let's see. Ed Chaos said pork roll. That's a little Hang Con inside joke. Ken said live is honest. Yep. All of your videos provide a very high quality. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. I do my best. I really do my best. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm rambling here, and I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me in the chat tonight. If you are in the chat, or if you're watching this video in the future, this chat in the future, and you haven't hit the subscribe button, do that for me. If you guys haven't hit the like button, I appreciate that. And like I said, you can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. I appreciate you guys all watching. Thanks so much, and I will see you next Thursday.